Your appreciation of these 6 GBU-57 bunker busters targeting Fordo and 30 Tomahawk cruise missiles at Isfahan and Natanz. Is it the end of Iran's nuclear weapons program for now? How long will this setback be for Iran?
Yeah, it will definitely roll it back for a while, but definitely not into the program. That has to come from political leadership to stop pursuing the program. While these sites were hit in, 6 massive ordnance penetrators that can each penetrate 200 feet into concrete reinforced field, let alone a mountain, will definitely destroy whatever it was trying to destroy in Fordo, which is a massive complex. And the 14 of 15 nuclear scientists, the plutonium enrichment site that has been hit, multiple of these sites have been destroyed, but the ultimate destruction of the program has to be dismantled from the Islamic regime, stop pursuing it, just like Iraq did in the 1980s after Israel hit its nuclear reactor, and the international community stepped in with inspectors and sanctions and basically trust but verify that the program truly is destroyed.
Now, Iran all along said it was complying with all IAEA regulations, rules and norms. Iran has said it's a violation of international law that an uranium enrichment program that was for peaceful use was targeted, whether at Fordo, Natanz or Isfahan. Your take on this?
Yeah, you should trust that statement about as much as you trust Pakistan's statements about Operation Sindoor. I mean, the IEA, the same one they're talking about, on the morning before Israel struck, for the first time in 20 years, voted that Iran was in violation of the non-nuclear proliferation obligation. It was enriching uranium beyond what it would need for clean energy, but trust me, that's not why they're doing it. Uh, all intelligence, global intelligence, said that Iran was not negotiating in good faith, was rushing to a bomb because that would change the strategic framework. And when you have another terrorist regime with a bomb, let alone what they'll do with it, but that also would free them up to continue their global export of terrorism, launching terrorist attacks into Israel from every direction.
And is Iran now dissuaded enough, in your appreciation, to pursue that nuclear weapons program, or facilities like Bushehr still exist? They will now actually want to speed it up, cut corners, and put that bomb together. Benjamin Netanyahu's apprehension was within weeks, if not months, they can put together 9 atomic bombs.
Yeah, I think that's no longer the situation. What had the destruction that Israel was doing already was very good. The United States stepped in to hit some sites that Israel couldn't do without great risk to their soldiers on the ground, putting soldiers on the ground to do a deep raid, basically. The program has been rolled back, but will this cause the Ayatollah to finally say, okay, I won't have a nuclear program. I won't try to restart it. I won't try to find more nuclear scientists and create more sites, because they could do that if you left them alone now. That's the ultimate only into this. It's not just the destruction of it, but the agreement from the Islamic regime that they're not going to continue with the program.
Does the regime stay, in your appreciation, or is this endgame Ayatollah Ali Khamenei's regime?
That's up to him. Hopefully he doesn't make the fatal, awful decision to strike at a U.S. installation in the region or anything as reckless as that. Right now, both the United States and Israel say that that's maybe a great outcome, but it's not the objective of this operation, which is the rollback of the nuclear program.
So, in your appreciation, has the aim been achieved, the aim that Israel set out with, the aim for which it needed US help, especially for Fordo, since nobody else has the B-2 bombers and the GBU-57 MOPs? Now that that's been done, do we see peace talks move forward?
I hope so. I definitely hope so. You would think, I mean, we usually put rational actor theory here. The United States and Israel have both said from the beginning, and although President Trump said 2 weeks, with 2 days is within 2 weeks, but I absolutely think that all political lines are open right now, and that this should be, but I don't know for sure if this will be the kind of tipping point to force the Islamic regime to say, yes, I'll give it up, or does more destruction necessary?
Okay, because there are some reports that seem to indicate US bases in the region are on a state of highest alert because this is where Iran could retaliate. And should that retaliation happen, whether on US interests in the region or on Israel, do you foresee massive escalation?
That would definitely be massive escalation. President Trump has made that clear, and if people haven't learned that so far, is take his word to value. They aren't false red lines. That would be a crossing a red line. Many of those installations have had many personnel moved, increased security measures. There is more military power in the region, more destroyers, aircraft carriers, more aircraft. That would be an awful decision, and the retaliation would be fierce by the United States if that happened.
How would Iran be reacting to this? A state of shock or a state where they would have war gamed this and there are systems that they can put in place to respond and retaliate? Because there are some reports that seem to indicate that even Fordo had been vacated weeks, if not months ago, and they have facilities like Bushehr that are still operational.
Yeah, I don't know about those intelligence reports. This was a very surprise operation. Yes, the personnel could be evacuated, but not the centrifuges, not that critical infrastructure. I don't know what Iran will do. I mean, Israel was conducting at will strikes 8 hours before this operation. Israel's had great success at destroying ballistic missile launchers, ballistic missile supplies, the leadership. So no, I don't think they're going to enact a war game. They lost over 25 senior leaders in the entire military. The guy they tried to put in charge of the military to replace the old guy was eliminated after the second try by Israel. They're totally infiltrated by the Mossad. I think they're in chaos, and they need to make decisions if they want to survive. And nobody's saying that they can't survive, that they need to make different decisions than planning a retaliation, because even their retaliations thus far have been weaker than on the first day. Less missiles are getting through, zero drones are getting through, and Israel is striking them at will.
And yet Iran says they haven't used some of their newer generation weapons. They haven't used their hypersonic missiles. They haven't used some of their supersonic missiles. That generation of weapons, they say, is still to be used. Only a third by some accounts, half by others of their launchers have been destroyed, which means they would still have half of their launchers intact. Do you see an escalation?
Yeah, no, I definitely see the possibility that they will respond. Irrationally. And you're right. I wouldn't count on their hypersonics and what they believe is hypersonic. They do have some very large ballistic missiles they have not used. 1 ton, and they tested a 2 ton ballistic missile 2 weeks before this operation began. They could make a really bad decision and hit civilian sites and cause a mass casualty event still. They're still dangerous. They're still lethal. They still get a chance to determine their future.
Okay.